People who have met their online friends. What made you instantly regret it? It was supposed to be a date. She had her hand on another guy's leg at the bar. I did a Grandpa Simpson at the burlesque. I enjoyed this description of your quick escape.
She flew in town to be a bridesmaid in my wedding. And she decided to cheat on her husband with one of the groomsmen and blame me for that. Because it was my wedding, so that clearly makes it my fault she was unfaithful. How dare you have a wedding on this, the day of my adultery? Was this the first time you met Earl? Wild. Yep. And the last. LOL.
I invited him over to my house and he shat all over my toilet. Just to clarify, it was not in the toilet, it was on the seat, and a bit of it landed on the floor. Well, that's a conversation starter. Geez, you spelled charter wrong.
My friends and I met him playing League of Legends, and turns out he only lived about an hour away. He insisted on being referred to by his in-game name when in person and made a big deal of it whenever someone called him by his real name. There's a guy I'm friends with who plays Aatrox, and role plays him too. Knows every single one of his lines and types them into chat and will say them randomly during Discord while we aren't playing League. Dude is fucking weird. But it's kind of refreshing seeing someone not give a fuck and express themselves. Edit. You're all roasting him together now. He found this comment a few hours ago and called me out on it completely. So much for staying hidden, sad smiley.
I used to play Counter-Strike 1.6 with one of the funniest and most lively guests I've ever met. He was a linchpin for half a dozen other guys in a friendship group that he welcomed me into. They lived about 200 miles south of me in the south of England. For several years we talked and played games together. He would brighten my day. I've never loved a friend like I loved him. Before I met him, I had no idea he was sick. Like, really sick. He had muscular dystrophy, for which there is no cure, and is a progressively debilitating disease. His form started by paralyzing his legs, and working its way up to his arms and eventually his lungs. It wasn't until a few days before I had arranged for my first ever trip down there that he told me about it. It didn't faze me in the slightest. It made me want to go see him even more. I only saw him in real life twice before he died about a year later. I regret that I couldn't go to his funeral. It was too far away and I couldn't make it. I've never loved a friend like I loved him. I think of you often. The years you define. My history is yours and your memory is mine. My equal, my other, my brother, my friend. I loved you. I hate that it came to an end.
I actually worked with this lady at the time. She was good looking and very flirtatious. Most importantly, we both played World of Warcraft at its prime. She ended up inviting me to join her server, and being a then horny 20-something, I, of course, joined up. We played for a time and had a good PvP group going, her regulars. Of course she was still flirty with me in-game and I was back, all in group chat. Either way, we had some great times together slaying players in PvP. Summer comes and it's a company barbecue. I find out she is bringing one of our PvP partners to the event. Cool. It was her husband. A cop. I've been virtually sexting her in-game in front of him for 3 months. What happened next? We need Moray. I was mid-20s and she was mid-30s, so it wasn't weird between us. But her husband was mid-40s, so he probably thought I was fucking hilarious. I ended up quitting my job to unrelated events and I awkwardly kept in touch with the husband because he went to the same racetrack I did. I mean, fuck. I couldn't escape my embarrassment.
Met a girl I really liked on WoW, but she lived in another country. After a couple of vacations there, it turned into a relationship. Made the decision to move and start a new life there with her. After living there for 4 months I slowly realized she was crazy as hell. Huge mood swings paired with a lot of aggression. Ended up getting stabbed in the side by her while asleep. Needless to say, after getting out of the hospital I took the first plane back home. She's still in a psychiatric hospital. What did she stab you with? My new filleting knife. Happy she grabbed that instead of one of the older blunt ones. Luckily she missed any fiddle parts, and it was only a 4-day stay at the hospital for observation. Lucky indeed. I suppose you at least got a good story out of it, and not an extended hospital stay or worse.
I was 13 and had a 20-year-old pen pal in Hong Kong, both of us female. We met on Tumblr and emailed each other regularly. My parents were CC'd in all our correspondence, and we basically just talked about our cultures. About a year of us talking went by, and she said that her university allowed her to study abroad in Europe for a semester and she chose my country. Fun. I was excited. However, some time went by and our friendship kinda faded, to the point where I had forgotten she was even coming to my country. About 2 weeks before she was supposed to come, she emailed me that her student accommodation had to be cleaned out, so she couldn't access it on the night that she arrived. She needed a place to stay for one night. I asked my mum and she agreed to pick her up from the airport with me, and she could stay with us for one night. I mean, we trusted this girl. I was very open about my friendship with her. We had pictures and everything. So 2 weeks later, we pick her up from the airport, and we didn't click. She kinda annoyed me, but it was late and so we just went home. We get home and get her settled. We went up to my room. She gave me some presents and we chat a little bit. She says thanks for letting me stay here this semester. Excuse me, this semester? I asked her, like, what do you mean? You can stay here tonight. We can see each other during the weekends if you want to hang out, but you can't stay here. She goes quiet. We go to sleep. At this point I just wanted her to go away, and I got what I wanted. The next morning I wake up, and she's gone. I don't even know how she got out, because we lock the doors at night, but she just vanished. We have special locks that you need a key for to open, and the key was somewhere else in the house. Yes, I think this is a fire hazard. No, my mom can't be convinced it's unnecessary. Her suitcase was still there. I tried calling her. She didn't pick up. She eventually texted me, asking if my mother could drop off her suitcase at a train station 40 minutes away at a certain time. My mother brought the suitcase, and that was that. Never seen her or spoken to her again after that. Update: now that I think about it, I have a theory about why this went down like it did. She most likely put down my address on her visa application as her place of residency during her stay and needed to stay in my house in case immigration was going to check if she was actually there. Also, for those wondering why she annoyed me, she treated my mother like a taxi driver and she shot down everything I said to her. She was rude to me until she gave me the presents, after which she directly started talking about staying with me the whole semester. She didn't want to talk to me after I said that I had told her she could stay for one night on that exact date. I told her we could discuss it with my parents in the morning. Her and my English were both great, and we had discussed specific dates. I didn't put this in the original comment because I didn't think this would blow up like it did, and I'm not Irish, haha.
Do dating app people count? Because he told me he was a vampire within 10 minutes. Oh, I have a vampire story. My first boyfriend ever told me he was a vampire. Twilight was very popular at the time, and then asked if I would sacrifice my humanity to be a vampire too. I played around and was like, yeah, sure, and then the fucker bit my neck. LMFAO. Edit. Wow, an award. Thank you. Shout out to Brandon the alleged vampire for making this possible. Same thing happened with my boyfriend at 14. This was way before Twilight was a thing though. He never bit me, but he was very dedicated to the character. I played along because I mainly wanted to see where it went. We got back together for about a year or two in our late 20s, and he was mortified by his teenaged fake vampirism.
He catfished me, always bragged about how he lost a bunch of weight and then looked like the before pictures he posted. Not that I personally cared, but he got a lot of online attention from girls because of this. Also, he made fun of me for being poor, i.e. having a beat up car, eating cheap food, etc. What a douche. He can stick all of it up his ass, even if it doesn't fit.
Met up with a friend I met in WoW. I fell down steps. Instead of helping or asking if I'm okay, she laughed hard, like not breathing, on the floor gasping for air, seal clapping hard. We've been friends for like 8 years ever since that, and she still reminds me she probably just didn't want you to cry. It works on babies. That felt like an unintentional roast lol edit. This comment got me over 10k upvotes. Wow. Overall, thank you for watching this fantastic video. Please tap one of the 4 videos on the screen for another amazing Ultra Reddit video.